In order to get the maximum distance out of our driver, we want to hit a nice high draw. Now these are the concepts that I teach all of my students after 30 years of coaching that work every single time. We're going to talk about the objective. What does the club actually have to be doing to hit the high draw? I'm going to teach you on the setup. There's a couple keys in the setup, a couple interesting things with the hips that you got to do to help that be possible. And then there's a couple swing feels that always work. And then of course there's always a good drill. So the first thing is the objective. In order to hit a nice high draw, what we have to be able to do is we want the club swinging in to out, we want a square club face, and we want to hit up on the golf ball. Let me go through that again. Those are the 3 steps. Number 1 is we want an in to out swing, which we're going to talk about in the setup to help make that possible. We want a square club face, and we want to hit up on the golf ball. When we get the club doing those 3 things, we hit that nice high draw. So in the setup, to get that in to out swing, here's the first thing you're going to do. I'm hitting a shot down the middle of the fairway. I've got my MaxVert 2, my new driver right here. The first thing is I want your stance to be slightly close to the target line. Okay, so if this is my target line, and I got my main man Nick behind the camera. Nick, does that look pretty square? Okay, Nick gave me a thumbs up. You give us a thumbs up also. Be sure to tell us where you're from. We love hearing where you're from. So if this is my square to my target line, I want my feet and my hips ever so slightly closed. Now we're talking maybe 5-10 degrees to the right. So if my ball wants to go down the middle of the fairway, my feet, my hips, and my shoulders are maybe aimed towards that bunker kind of in the back, all right? That's step number 1. And what that does is that helps you naturally swing more from the inside. Now the next thing that we want to do in the setup is we want to have a little bit of a hip bump. Right? I mentioned that earlier in the introduction. I want you to feel this 60-40, all right? So you know in the vertical line swing, and we talk about this in our book, The Bad Lie, that we love the 60-40, meaning 60% of our weight on our lead foot, 40% on our trail. But here's the key. Pay attention. Watch this closely. I want the lead hip to bump a little forward. Everybody see that? Bump a little forward. So I want this hip socket over my lead foot. Now what does that do for you? What that does is that helps you tilt your upper body slightly back. Everybody see that? So when the hip bumps, the upper body tilts. And remember, one of our goals is to hit up on the golf ball. In order to hit up on the golf ball, I want a slight tilt in my upper body at impact. Okay, so let's review this setup, and then we're going to get into the swing feels. All right, we're going to have the stance ever so slightly closed. All right, we're going to have that 60-40, so that allows us to get the hip joint over the lead foot, tilt the shoulders a little bit, and then here's the last thing in the setup. All right, and this is a key component. When you're set in there, I want your lead arm slightly higher than your trail arm. Everybody see that? Lead arm slightly higher than my trail arm, okay? I almost feel like I take the handle and I just lean it up a little bit. I raise it just slightly. That also helps me swing from the inside. All right, now that we've got the setup down to help us achieve those 3 objectives, let's talk about the swing. Now, if you want more distance in the golf swing, got a ton of videos on this, but the easiest way to get more distance is to make a golf swing that's longer. The longer the swing is, all things being equal, the further you're gonna hit the golf ball. Just think about it for a second. When you hit a chip shot, it's a short swing, ball goes a short distance. When you make a driver swing, it's a longer swing and the golf ball goes a longer distance. So I want you to feel like your swing is longer, and here's how you do this. This is a tip I give almost all of my experienced golfers. And if you're an experienced golfer, put it in the chat. If you're not afraid to tell us how old you are, put that in there as well. I want you to make sure that you take the trail leg and you let it release just a little bit. So notice how I've got a little bit of bend here in my knee. Let's just say, for sake of discussion, it's 30%. Just for sake of discussion. When I get to the top, I want you to feel like that trail leg releases just a little bit. I don't want it locked out, but I want it to release a little bit to maybe now it's got 15 degrees of bend, right? And when that knee releases, that allows you to turn the hips, which allows you to turn your shoulders, which allows you to get a longer swing on the backswing. So one of the easiest ways to hit the golf ball longer is to make a swing that is longer. All right, so that's the backswing feel. And I'm gonna give you a forward swing feel and a finish feel here in just a second. And then we got that drill we gotta get to, my favorite drill for more clubhead speed. Trail leg releases, that allows us to turn the shoulders and get the hands nice and high and back and up. What about the finish? Okay, so we've talked about a lot of information. We understand the objective. We understand the setup. We've got a backswing feel. What about a finish feel? Well, this is my favorite. Okay, I like to call it the Arnie Palmer finish. All right, and I don't know, did any of you out there ever get to watch Arnold Palmer play in person? He's a legend. If you did, put it in there. It's fun to read the different stories. I never got a chance to see him play in person, and it's one of my big regrets, but he had this classic finish where the handle was always nice and high. All right, his handle was nice and high. All right, this is a mistake I see a lot of experienced golfers make. When they finish, the handle is low. See, this is bad, low finish with the handle. This is good, a nice high handle finish. Now, I got a little tip on this. Get a piece of paper. If you slice your driver, pay attention. This is specifically for you. When you give me the high handle finish, I want you to feel like the club rotates and lays over. Nick, make sure you get this, my friend. When that club rotates and lays over, see that? Okay, the handle is high and the club face is closed. That is one of the easiest ways to increase your distance and get you to hit that nice high draw. So give it that Arnie Palmer finish and let the face rotate over a little bit. What is the drill you can do? This is one of the drills in the book, The Bad Lie, where we talk about the entire vertical line swing system. When you set in there, here's what I want you to do. We call this the right knee, right field drill. Right knee, right field. Think of a baseball field, a softball field, right? You're gonna take your hands and you're gonna put them down here by your right knee. Okay, and you're going to drag the club, the max vert driver. I got the max vert 2 right here. Drag the driver, okay, and then you're going to lift it up into that high Arnold Palmer finish with the face rotated open. So it's here, it's there. Everybody see that? Do a little 3-setter. Boom, there's 2. Boom, there's 3. And then I can go ahead and hit the shot. Now, why does that drill work? Well, remember the objective, right? We want to hit up on it. We want an in to out path. We want a square club face, right? If I do those 3 things, I hit the high draw, I get the maximum distance. When I put the club on the ground and I drag it, where's it traveling? It's traveling in to out. When I'm going through, what is the handle doing? It's raising or rising up, okay? And then what am I doing with the club face? I'm rotating it over to get it to be nice and square. Now that we've added more distance to your drives, check out my next video. And if you want to personally work with us on your golf game, check out VLScoaching.com.